There is a type of logical fallacy that industry professionals in Hollywood and other mainstream cinema actually use because they're trying to play it safe. Want to know what that is? Stay tuned and let's discuss. Welcome, story lovers, to the Story Dude Show with your host, Jared Dean Winchester, bringing you the final episode for the month of June 2025. So let's get right into it, shall we? I've worked in the film industry, gaining about a decent amount of experience, about a year of experience in Hollywood. And within this time, I noticed something not quite disturbing, but I shall say annoying, to the point where I can't believe they're still holding out even in the 21st century. The old adage, the old mentality, the old way of thinking, and the old way of making films. That logical fallacy is called the no true Scotsman fallacy. So to illustrate, here's the example. If I was to suggest to an industry professional where I found this great film, Tangerine, from Iran, that used iPhones, 5 iPhones, and an app called Filmic Pro to make this film. The cinematography was fantastic, and the movie was a hit success. You know what the industry professional would turn around and tell me? You guessed it. He's going to say, no true filmmaker will use iPhones to make a film. So in his mind, there's only one tried and true way of making a film. And that tried and true film making is use expensive equipment and complex equipment that takes time to build, that takes time to set up, wasting valuable time, production time, because time is money, to set it all. And this equipment would be costing in the tens of thousands of dollars, doing Zeus only whatnot, whether or not the features and benefits are being used for this is yet to be desired. So on paper, these industry professionals will look at it, and based on that, nah, this is not professional, or yes, this is what we want. Most of the time, the spec sheet will look on more of the lines. It's got all the bells and whistles, the professional dingos, and of course, you have the complex setup. It will take at least two individuals, two people, one to operate the camera, one to change the focus and whatnot, to execute a shot. What I'm trying to tell you is that this no true Scotsman fallacy comes from the mentality of the old cinema age, where cameras were clunky, the equipment was huge, heavy, and it was complicated. It was complex to operate. You needed specialized technical expertise to help operate it, to give you that professional image that you see on screen. Now, the filmmaking techniques, the basic filmmaking techniques, are taught whether for a fee in well recognized or well reputable film schools. But as I have realized, while being in film school and while gaining experience in film school, a lot of biases exist based on the equipment, especially towards equipment and filmmaking, and of course, editing. The editing tools that are used. Now, I'd like to use a couple of examples to prove my point here. The first example comes from when you walk into a kitchen, you see this expensive equipment, appliances in the kitchen, and then you decide, oh, this must mean this makes delicious food. No, it won't. You and I both know that it is the cook or the chef that makes the delicious food. Conversely, it is the filmmaker and the storyteller that makes great films. Same is true for editing. But before I move on to this, I'm going to tell you that a bad handyman will always blame his tools. There is this huge controversy, this huge debate going on which editing software, NLE, if you're not sure what NLE means, it's actually non-linear editing. That's what it's an acronym for. Non-linear editing software. There are three big players: Adobe Premiere Pro, Avid Media Composer, which was designed by editors for editors back in the day of film and back in the day when computers were being used to cut and put together a story. We also have a final contender, Apple Final Cut Pro 10. Now, these are just tools. Let me remind you, these are just tools. How you use them to give us a great story, the audience a great story, matters. When you have a great story, doesn't matter what tool you use. If you're going to edit this in a way that it is not only consistent, but also is meaningful, that creates emotion in the audience, that's what matters. If you entertain your audience, if you cut it in such a way that's seamless and consistent and enjoyable, that's what really matters. Now, the tools that you use, they don't matter. Now, people, audience, won't care what tools you use. I mean, can you honestly tell me from the bottom of your heart or from your eye that the image you're looking at, you can tell what camera captured that image? The closest thing you can come is what lens captured the image, because it's the lens that allows the image to be focused, captured, and gives the quality of the image captured by the camera's image sensor. So the logical fallacy, the no true Scotsman logical fallacy, stems from the fact that it is old school thinking, biases, and the mentality that it it that they want to reduce the risk or to play it safe. That's what the word I'm looking for. But things are a changing. You want to tell an aspiring filmmaker that you have to use expensive equipment to make a professional quality film or a professional film. Otherwise, you ain't a professional. You're dreaming. Because things are changing. Indie filmmakers are finding ways to justify the means for an end. So if you've heard of the ends justify the means, or the ends justifying the means, this is one thing. This is one of the key things that I can let you in on. The means will be the equipment and the tools that you use, and the end result, the ends, which is the film, the finished product. However, you need to understand that the playing it safe can no longer be an excuse, because Hollywood is definitely going to fail. Now, I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm saying this as what I believe is a prediction. Because when you have an industry, an entire industry, that's trying to stretch the dollar, playing it safe by relying too many times on remakes, adaptations, and sequels and prequels and whatever they're trying to do to play it safe, that's eventually going to fail. And if you've watched my earlier episode where I do tell you why Hollywood is failing, be sure to check it out. And with that being said, this is the main reason the no true Scotsman fallacy or the appeal to tradition fallacy is used. Logical fallacies are used. So, thank you for joining me. This has been Jared Dean Winchester, also known as the Story Dude. I post anywhere between 2 to 3 episodes per month of the show each year, so be sure to check all of my episodes out. Now, I may increase the frequency, so be on the lookout for that. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until I see you again, don't forget to turn that page.